Welcome back to the Frizz and the Grizz podcast with your hosts, Trudeau and D.
Woo! Wow. Bro, I'm telling you, that intro every single Monday gets me fucking hype. It's your boy D Frizzy Frizz. I'm here with my boy to my right, to your left on the screen, Steve Trudeau, baby. What's good?
Good, man. It's a weird thing hearing your voice first. Little experiment today. D is going to be the captain. You're the captain now. I'm taking a step back and I'm going to be the co-pilot for this journey today. I love it.
I love to hear it. Like I said, I'm here, always here. We always got to start off the right way, right? Let me get you real quick. Happy fucking Monday, baby. We need to play some like air horns after that. Like, yeah. That'd be dope.
I can do that. So just, keep throwing the ideas in. We'll just keep building onto this thing.
I think the ideas are going to make the stream better if we just keep it as, I guess, organic as possible. Definitely running it a little bit different for you guys that are hearing, again, me first as opposed to my boy Trudeau, I guess, kicking off the ones and twos. He's still going to be here doing the producing. You're going to hear all the sounds in the background from him. He's got the switchboard. You're going to hear me on the mic a little bit more today. So we'll ride with it. I'll try to keep my throat nice and clear. Drank a lot of water today, so we going to be good. Typically, as we drop off or at least start the show, Trudeau, how was your weekend?
Fantastic, man. I'm just trying to wrap up grad school now, so I'm just like drowning in schoolwork. 5 more weeks, baby. I'm just like crawling to the finish line. I'm almost done.
Damn. Good for you. That is a big shout out for anybody that's going through that type of stuff, man. That is not easy. How long is that? Was that 4 years?
And 3 years, I've been doing it slow, but like I've been doing it so work pays for every penny. It's weird. Like it's like go back to school and hate life for 3 years, but it's free. I'm like, damn, it was real expensive the first time, so let's just do it. Screw it.
Gotcha. Fair enough. I mean, I couldn't do it. So kudos to you. I do not miss school when it comes to anything like that. Those that are going or going back, good for you. For me, I'm not. So I'm I'm glad that you were able to get through that. Weekend for me, what a fucking wild ride. Let me tell you. Saturday at least was the youngest birthday. So happy birthday to Miss Harlow Amari Fur. Um, Biggest thing about it too is you don't realize that you have to do like adult shit until you have to do adult shit. And what I mean by that is putting together a playground for a child. Talk about not just frustrations, but just like the next day, my body was so sore. And it was just like little things like tightening nuts, you know what I'm saying? Like, hammering stakes down, using the power drill. But like I woke up and I was like, dog, I feel like I just installed a roof yesterday. What the hell?
Bro, you're getting too old if you're complaining about setting like an Allen wrench. Like this Allen wrench is kicking my ass, man. Like
You'd be surprised, man. Like, it's not even just that. It was just like all the torque and stuff, like picking up and dropping off. Like, you got to put it in a certain way because, like, our HOA is going to complain about it. You can't see it from the front of the street. Whatever, man. I'm putting it on the side of the house. I don't give a damn what you say. But yeah, man, that shit ain't easy. Have you put together anything like that?
nah, I don't have the room for that here. I gotta get a new spot. Like my yard's too small, but I have everything inside the house instead. So it's just like a jungle in here. I'd rather put it all outside. Plus, like honestly, you live in North Carolina. It makes more sense to have that outdoor stuff. We're dealing with snow right now, so I don't know how much a playground is going to help me at this moment.
It's crazy that I just kind of easily brushed over that I just put together a playground while you guys are dealing with snow. It's 60 degrees outside. That's the reason why I did it. So I was in shorts and a sweatshirt. So I apologize for y'all that are dealing with the cold weather in the winter season. I love the fact that I can look outside. It's nice and hot out.
Did you
But
ever miss the cold?
what's that?
Did you miss it at all? Being
No.
down there?
Not
No.
even a little bit, because there's a little bit of coldness at like not three, like 5 in the morning, 6 in the morning when you're getting everybody getting ready to go to like daycare. But like by 10, 11, it's nice and warm out. So like I'm perfectly fine. I got my cold. It's in the morning and it's at night. I don't need it at 2 o'clock in the afternoon when I'm trying to actually, do stuff for my day.
Fair enough.
But we got a really cool show for you guys. We're going to switch it up. Instead of going sports, we're going to throw a little curveball because we started talking comic book stuff last week, at least off air. So we're going to talk about some Walking Dead. We're going to get into the NFL when it comes to, I guess, a recap of week 15, basically where we're at as a league. Would be good to know Trudeau's top dogs, his mid-tier teams, more importantly, all those bottom feeders that are looking ready for the draft. New Orleans. More importantly, we're going to end it off with, I believe, some truth tellers. And then we do some recap. So wherever Trudeau's going with that, he's going to put the Zoom hat on. I have no clue what's in store for it, but I'm ready for whenever you're ready to hit that. So, comic book shows, right? I know that we had briefly talked about it, I think, just before we went off air last week. But we've been talking about it back and forth off air because it's something that I'm rewatching. Are you familiar with how everything goes with The Walking Dead?
All right. So I used to watch it every week, like Sunday. I think it used to come out Sunday, 8 p.m. or whatever on AMC.
Mhm.
I'd be there with my popcorn, ready to watch, get into it. So spoiler alert, if you have not watched The Walking Dead, you've seen it, right, D? Like
Just
most of
don't
it.
tell me the last season. That's all I care about. Don't
No,
tell me
I
that.
haven't gone that far.
Okay.
So obviously, Glenn gets killed by Negan.
Mhm.
I watched the season after that, and then it just kind of dragged on way too long. I just never went back.
Crazy part is that's like around, and forgive me if I feel like I'm yelling. I feel like there's a big echo right now. I'm also closer to my mic for the first time. Usually I'm sitting back here.
You sound
Um,
like very, voice just like I like.
Good. Well, it's because I'm closer to the mic. Shout out to you. Never tell me about the mic stand to buy too, by the way. Back to The Walking Dead. I feel like that's around the same time that like it fell off of being the misses. There was like something about, I would say, Glenn's character that just like kept you attached to the show. So like there was something like he was the nerdy pizza boy, right? It's just the delivery guy around town in Atlanta. So like he knew his way around. And then it became the scout, right? The scavenger, the guy going out for hunting. Then he bagged Maggie. we all know about Maggie. After that, like he became like a killer, right? He got his ass beat in that dungeon by Burrow, and it like changed his life. He's like, all right, man, if I gotta worry about walkers and people literally trying to kill me, like I need to man up. And he did. And then they fucking followed the comic book. Like that's my problem, is that like it's cool that they did follow the comic book because he dies in the comic book. We all read it, or if you didn't read it, at least take a look at it. But like I just didn't want it to. I wish that like they went the route of like, the Avengers, where like they just didn't follow everything for the
You
comic
want
book.
a parallel universe?
Yeah, like let's just make it so like stuff happens, but like it doesn't need to follow exactly what happened, right?
I feel like if you don't kill people off, then there's no payoff. Like you got to have some drama, right? You just can't make it too easy. For me, like I wasn't a big Glenn fan. I didn't really care. That's not why I ended up leaving him. Because my biggest thing was like the first couple seasons, the approach to the storyline, like the different scenarios, what have you. Like it changed every season, every 2 seasons. Dog, that Negan thing, they dragged it out for like 3 seasons. By the time I gave out, I'm like, I just can't do this no more. Like I'm just so done. I think they just ran out of ideas and like they just wanted to milk it for as much money as they could and make it as long as they could. And I just couldn't stick with it. So for me, Glenn, whatever. I was more sad that Big Red got knocked out. That was my guy. I forgot his name. My guy at the handlebar. Do you know his name?
I want to say Adrian, but I don't.
Oh, Abraham.
It's Abraham. It was something with an A. Yeah.
You just no. Rocky's wife was not in The Walking.
Yeah. We always make Rocky references. Yeah, I mean, I think that's kind of hitting it on the head when it comes to the whole drawn out part with Negan. You run out of material, but you can still like I guess grow characters, and they just didn't. They were just in Alexandria, just like fighting, like people that were not really important to the show were dying insignificantly, but like the main characters were fine, right?
They did grow a couple. Like, all right, I didn't see the end character arc of the preacher guy. I know he was like being converted into a badass at some
Bald
point.
dude?
Yeah, he was like he didn't want to kill no one at first. He never really turned into anything.
No, he's still the same.
My favorite guy, and they did have a nice little character arc, was I'm gonna forget his name too. Black guy with the stick. Like he was like one of the main characters, and he. Like,
oh, yep. I know who you're talking about.
You know his name?
Fuck.
Oh, you bad. You're so bad with names.
You ask me if I know somebody's name, bro. You know I'm not gonna know their name.
I know. Damn.
But I know bald dude, black bald dude. I know you're talking about. I just
Black bald dude. No, he was good. He was my guy, and I think they had some good characters, but spoiler. Morgan, yeah, you had to look that up, didn't you?
I did. Well, I'm on the page, but like I thought of his name before I got to his picture.
You know, they actually made a spinoff with him, Fear of the Walking Dead, which that probably flopped as well.
So that was like kind of like my hold on to for dear life to see if it's gonna bring me back to The Walking Dead, because the way that he left The Walking Dead and like went to the West Coast, like that's where Fear of the Walking Dead happened.
Yeah.
I thought that like something would bring everybody together for like how they, again, spoiler alert, the way they killed off Rick, right? I thought something would happen with that. I haven't watched the last season, so I don't have any idea if something like that does happen. But like that was my like, let's hold on for dear life and like let's bring back the main character with the Colt 45 and the hatchet, right? So like that was for me. But it just sucks that the show, I guess, got drawn out in that Negan saga way too long, and then they kind of brought it back with it. I thought at first talking walkers, but it just happened to be people dressed up as. Did you get that far? People dressed up as walkers?
Nah, I heard about that. That's part of the comic book series. That there are these people who like disguise themselves as walkers, and they kind of walk amongst them. The wolves. I thought the wolves were the people that attacked. Is it Alexandria, the gated community, or was that what was the gated community?
It was Alexandria. Yep.
Remember those people attacked Alexandria, like they drove the car through the fence and just randomly attacked? I thought those people were the wolves with the W, but apparently they're not.
Maybe I'm just mixing it up again. I haven't gotten that far.
I think you're right. I think there are people who dress up as walkers, but I'm curious. Like you've watched like almost the whole thing at this point. You're telling me now you're rewatching it back. Like before we get to like where you are, like I was curious, what is your favorite saga of the series?
I would say first season of the Negan introduction. That was when the show was at its height. Alexandria had just gotten like, I guess, strong. I think Rick had just lost the woman that he thought was going to be replacing his wife. I can't remember the girl's name, but she was insignificant. Again, 3 episodes. What's it? No. Before Michonne. So like he was like almost trying to hook up with the There was a chick that was in Alexandria that he killed the husband because he was beating up the woman.
Oh, I remember.
And she just got bit, and then her sons died because they got bit. So like it was around that time frame that they introduced Negan, and I think that season where like you knew where they were coming from, the whistle, like, but you just didn't know where they were. So like that was like the suspense behind it, and then the way that they capped it off with the killing of Abraham and Glenn was just like that season was dope. They just never touched that type of, I guess for me, suspense after that.
Is it weird to say my favorite season may have been the very first one? Just because everything was like so new and they didn't make the main characters, the main characters didn't just like cut down every zombie. Everything was like so risky. You didn't know what was going on. I like when they're in like the big cities, so they're in Atlanta, Georgia, and the fact that they get into the CDC at the end of it and like you find out there's like no hope. The scientists are like, yeah, man, like we're fucked. And I thought the ending was great. Like they could have taken their lives because spoiler, the guy blows up the CDC, the last scientist, and they decide they're going to carry on. I thought that was a really cool season, and it really got me into it as a series. Can I tell you one thing?
Yeah,
I'm curious for you. Best singular episode in The Walking Dead, hands down, is when the crew. I think it's the last episode of season 5 or something, when the crew is captive in Terminal. And
oh yeah, I know what you're gonna
what's
say.
her name? I haven't watched the show in like 10 years, so forgive me. The older woman, what's her name?
Yeah. Go
if
ahead.
I'm asking you the name, it's not.
Yeah, man, you're killing me with you asking me names.
Carol. I'm just gonna call it's Carol.
Carol. Yep, that's it.
The funniest thing, I'm like, let me think of the oldest white person name. And I'm like Carol, and I'm like, oh yeah, it is Carol. Yeah, Carol just like single-handedly goes and takes down the entire community. That's
She went all masked up.
The most badass episode in the whole series. Dog, she's a G, straight up G. And those people are fucked, by the way.
Cannibals, yeah. Not only that, so that was like the turning of everybody's a killer, right? Because like you said, Carol went all masked up and was just knifing motherfuckers. But like that was when Rick was in the cargo van and they were like, they put us together. They fucked up. And it was just like, oh shit, like
yes,
this is getting good. Everybody out there about to buck some caps off. And they were, you didn't fuck with them after that.
Oh, you know what? I also liked I liked the Shane character. I thought Shane was a pretty dope character. It was
yep, Rick's friend.
It was like his coworker. Like, I don't know what you call your sidekick cop, your whatever, his sidekick cop guy, and how they came to the butting heads at the end on the farm, and they ended up by Rick had to kill him. I liked that character arc as well, like that storyline. But one interesting thing is like the Terminal episode I'm bringing up, right?
Terminus.
I'm sorry. Like that's like the turning point in the story arc where like Rick goes from being like super nice and he's like too soft, right? And then he has to take down the governor, and then he gets soft again, and then he's soft up until Terminus, and then after Terminus, it's like he gets like kooky and tapped, and he has to like calm down to join Alexandria. But yeah, that's the turning point where they turn into complete savages after the cannibal episode or the cannibal, saga.
That area, yeah, that basically, I think it was Terminus was only 2 episodes, which is odd. If you think about it, I think it's only 2 episodes.
But it was like a very long build up walking to the place.
Yep. But I had thought about it too when I was watching how one of my good friends, I hope he's listening, we'll say B from the Northeast. Appreciate you, big dog. He had mentioned something about I'm gonna relay this together because it's AMC, about Breaking Bad and about how Walter White was the guy that like he's just very nice, he's very, I guess, like not outspoken, very shy, taken back. Then he starts to get like that Breaking Bad situation where he's just going from teacher to fucking drug lord, and everything is, I do it for my family. Like that's all he was doing, right? And he's like, I feel like Rick Grimes did that throughout the show, where you were like, oh, I'm like the nice guy, like trying to just protect or like trying to have the best solution. And then he got fucking tapped and was just like, I'm just killing any and everything that's around me, and I don't care if it helps us or not. And like, I don't know if that's the way that AMC builds their main characters, but it's a hell of a comparison between the two if you think about it.
Yeah, and I actually never watched. Have you watched Breaking Bad? I've never watched it.
It is the best TV series show in the history of TV series. I'm pretty sure. Yes, I'm pretty sure we've watched it at least 5 times. and straight through, no problems.
And you never watched an episode of The Office before I told you to
No,
watch it.
never watched The Office, bro. I'm sorry. I've seen snippets here and there, but yeah, man, if you haven't seen it, this ain't a plug for it, but if you haven't seen Breaking Bad,
Everyone knows.
take a half a summer and just at the end of each night, watch that shit because it's a great fucking show.
Have you done Better Call Saul as well?
Started it and got to a certain point where they stopped showing it on Netflix because you needed to catch up with it on AMC. So I stopped after that. But it's also, I heard, a very good show. So I definitely want to continue rewatching that.
I've heard people say that Better Call Saul might, like, maybe they're being a little bit of a hot take artist, but like might be better than Breaking Bad, just because the expectations of Better Call Saul was set high, and apparently they nailed it. So you're in for a good experience with that.
First 2 seasons were slow and dry, but I've heard that like you're supposed to get through. Yeah, you're supposed to get through that, and I did. I got to, like, I want to say season 4, maybe even season 5. I already know like certain people die and whatnot, and then I think the introduction of Gustavo was when I kind of stopped because it caught up to it on TV, and I just didn't have the time to watch it on Sundays.
I got a show for you also. I want to tap at the end of this.
Yeah,
but I got you that.
I guess before we wrap up the Walking Dead segment, because that I wasn't expecting to get that much out of it. I actually kind of like it. We gotta go more stuff outside of just sports, because this is, again, the people's podcast. We keep plugging that, we keep saying it, but then we just keep doing sports. So for y'all that are listening, for anybody that is here on on Tuesday mornings or Tuesday afternoons when it's up on the podcast, or you guys that are live, please shoot your ideas on social media. Shoot your ideas to us personally. Whatever topics you guys would love for us to talk about, even if it's us just like giving us bullshit takes as much as we can possibly talk about it, let us know. We'll throw it on the show.
Yeah, there's like a couple ways. I think you can hit us up on Twitter, obviously. I think it's at Frizz and Grizz, right? Frizz and Grizz. But also, apparently Spotify does this new feature when you put out a podcast episode where it automatically says, how do you feel about that episode? You can literally just type a comment to us directly through Spotify, and I'll get an update. So that's kind of cool as well.
I know you said that I need to get better at Spotify, so I do. Like, I need to take it as like a personal challenge for me to understand the ins and outs of it. I have Apple Music. I won't lie to you. I play all my shit through Apple Music.
Is it all free like Spotify? Like you can stream free?
It's only free because I got Verizon. That's all.
Okay, but you have to pay for songs. Like, is it like iTunes where you buy an album or buy a song, or is it all free?
It's all free. It's $10 a month or whatever we pay through Verizon.
Yeah. No, go ahead. Sorry.
I was gonna say I wanted to, I guess, get one last thing. You kind of talked about your favorite moment, and you talked about your favorite like characters. So what? I don't even really know, like, what would we say, like, the died off, like. What would bring you back to watching The Walking Dead? Let's say that, because we talked about the other 3 that I had questions for.
I don't know if there's anything in particular that like you could tell me what happens in the future with the show. I think what would bring me back is, dude, when they did like a season and then a season, now that it's all done, this isn't an issue. But I don't know, it was like a 6-month wait.
6.
Like that.
Rough.
If you didn't have a strong season, that 6 months is a long time and you lose interest fast. I think the problem also with Walking Dead, if we're gonna be honest, Walking Dead happened right before the golden age of streaming, right? Mm-hmm. So when Walking Dead started to tail off in popularity, there was so many options after that, as like you can watch stuff on Netflix, Hulu's got good stuff, Apple TV's got good stuff. So there's so many options where when Walking Dead started, I don't even think streaming was really a thing. Like maybe it was at its infantile stage. So, it was like a thing where you had to watch it on TV. I should probably give it a chance and go back and finish it. If you tell me there's 5 more seasons after I stopped watching, I don't know, man. That's a commitment and a half. I don't know if I can do that.
There's definitely more than 5. Based off of what you're saying. Good news is, again, they're only hour episodes. So, I mean, that's a great way to
that's a long time.
But you also, I mean, you work from home, bro. Don't act like you can't run it in the background. You don't need to know the ins and outs of the last time they knocked over a notebook and like the clue under it or anything.
I don't know, man. My wife does that. I don't know how. I hope she's not listening to me. I'm being very loud. I don't know how she does that, man. She will like fold laundry or be on her phone and watch entire seasons of a show. And I'm like, how the fuck did you get any of that? And then she'll be watching it and I'll be like, oh, because I'll walk in and out of the room in like intently watch it when I walk in and out, and I'll know shit she has no idea about because she's on her phone half the time. So I can't do that, man. I got to be like dedicated.
Locked in.
I'm locked in. Yeah, I'm locked in. I'm either in or out, man. 100%.
I'm with you on that one. I definitely have walked in the living room and seen some shit that's on TV, Netflix, and whatnot. I'm just like, you know what? I'm out of here because I don't want to know what the hell you're talking or what you're watching.
It's always murder stuff here with her too.
It's me, CSI crime scene shit, murderous husbands. So like, you got to think that like I'm gonna do something, or like husband is like cheating on the wife. I'm like, oh, bad things that like you're gonna go to bed thinking about me. Like, what the fuck?
Well, she does tell me like, hey man, I'm not going to murder you because that, the wife's always the number one suspect. So I'm in the clear.
Yeah, exactly. I think we're good with The Walking Dead, baby. Get us out of here.
Wait. Before we get out of here, I just want to mention to you, I want to tell you to watch another show really quick.
Yeah, you said one. Oh yeah, I thought you didn't.
Yeah, my bad. Have you heard of Welcome to Wrexham?
Welcome to Wrexham. Nope, but that sounds awful.
You would like it. I think you would genuinely like it, D. So Rob McElhaney, Rob from Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Yep.
And Deadpool, Ryan Reynolds, they both buy a Division 5 soccer team in Wales from the English Soccer League. And basically it is a reality TV show that's Hard Knocks, but a comedy. And it's about a shitty English football team trying to make it up into like the bigger leagues. It's really, really entertaining. It's really good. 25-minute episodes. They're so fast. And I'm telling you, man, if you like Hard Knocks, this is 1,000 times better. Welcome to Wrexham. It's on Hulu, man. Check it out.
I just wrote it down, so I'll definitely have to look at it. I mean, is it anything like the Jason Sudeikis soccer movie that's on Netflix? Not show. It's a show.
Yeah,
he's a coach.
Yeah,
is it anything like that?
It's not fake. It's real. It's like reality. So they have definitely some like that you get to learn the play. It's like Hard Knocks. Like it's the Hard Knocks you used to love, where you learn about these random obscure players and like get a feel for like actually liking these people. It's really good.
All right, yeah, I wrote it down, so I'll definitely. You said it's on Hulu.
Yeah, Welcome to Wrexham. Give like 1 or 2 episodes a shot. I'm telling you, 2 episodes in, you'll be like, oh, this is pretty dope.
Half-hour show is actually something I like fucking with. Word. I think that was really good. I think throwing a little curveball with going comic books instead of sports all the time is just a good way to break the fucking mold. Because sometimes there just ain't shit to talk about with sports. So we're going to talk about sports right now when it comes to the NFL. Where we at, where we going, and where we're going to be. Basically, a recap of how Week 15 went, some teams that didn't do as well as they should have, some teams that we thought we knew who they were. More importantly, the teams that are at the head of the class. I know my top dogs. Go ahead and play it.
But they are who we thought they were.
I wanted to play it so bad.
I was trying to throw a layup for you. I know my top dogs that I'm saying they're definitely contenders. I don't think much has changed from the beginning of the season. Maybe 2 teams that kind of snuck in there. But I want to hear about yours first before I go into mine. Who are some of the top teams that you're saying that, I mean, we're Week 15, 3 weeks away from the playoffs. These teams are definitely going to be front runners for Super Bowl champions.
So I like the stat, and I like the stat for baseball a lot as well. Run differential in baseball or point differential in football. And basically, like, you can have a certain record and you could be like the Giants. I've been harping on the Giants for weeks now that they're frauds. You were like, hey, you got to win the games you have in front of you, but they were barely winning these games. And if you look at the point differential, you can kind of see like clear divisions in the teams. And then just look at, so for example, the NFC, right? Only 3 teams in the NFC have a point differential of plus 10 or greater. And it's crazy how much better these 3 teams are. The Eagles, the Cowboys, and the 49ers are plus in order, plus 138, plus 131, and plus 120, which means they score over 120 more points that they have scored in them. You know what the 4th place team is at?
Good.
Plus 8. They are head and shoulders above everyone else. And it's going to be one of these 3 teams. I'm just going to talk about the NFC right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's really hard. So I can't say the 49ers are going to be legit because they got, what do they got? Some 3rd string, Mr. Irrelevant quarterback at this point. I forget his name already.
Purdy.
Yeah, Purdy. And I can't believe he's going to do anything in the playoffs. So then for me, it comes down to Eagles, Cowboys. Dude, if we get the Eagles and Cowboys in the NFC Championship game, How good would that be?
That is what America's hoping for. I mean, any of those matchups, any of those three matchups is primetime NFL 90s football. The Philadelphia Eagles, the Dallas Cowboys, and the San Francisco 49ers. That is NFL on Fox, right? Like that's what the NFL wants for an NFC matchup. I honestly, I mean, Eagles are the front runners. I think Jalen Hurts. I called it. I said pay him his dues. Remember, I said that shit at the beginning of the season. Give him his dues. He's NFL MVP right now. He's playing like it.
Yep.
So give him his flowers. I think he's going to have an incredible finish to the season. They're going to be able to actually sit him towards the end of the year. I really, really like the 49ers. And I do because Shanahan is proving that I don't give a shit who my quarterback is. You guys have to worry about us. Good news came back from Deebo Samuel. It's just an ankle injury. He's not like significantly impacted from that injury week to week. I'd rather have him ready for the playoffs compared to out for the season, obviously. Go ahead.
No, I get like the love for Shanahan, but here's the thing. If you are the 49ers and you play this Dallas team or this Eagles team in the playoff and you find yourself down 10, 14 points, dude, you're screwed with Brock Purdy. Like, I get the idea where the 49ers can kind of build the lead, run the ball, and play like really good schematics, but you can't count on Brock Purdy to lead a 2-touchdown comeback in the playoffs.
He just blew out the Bucks.
Right, but were they ever trailing? Was there ever an opportunity where you said, Brock Purdy, bring us back?
If your team is good enough where you don't have to worry about trailing, then why do you have to rely on that? Not every quarterback has to be a fourth quarter winning quarterback in order for you to be considered good. I'm not saying he's great, but we've seen terrible quarterbacks. Jared fucking Goff, right? Make the Super Bowl because the defense behind him is going to play absolutely stout to keep them in games so that your quarterback can continuously manage the game. I don't care if you want to be considered a managed QB, a managed QB or whatever. Like you're fucking winning. Like that's all that matters at the end of the day is you're getting the dub.
Hey man, put some respect on Jared Goff because I'm pretty sure he's on.
Jared Goff in fucking LA is completely different than Jared Goff in Detroit. So you know what I meant by that.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, all right, I get you with the 49ers, right? Like if they ended by playing the Bucks, sure. Like because the Bucks right now are a first round playoff team. Yeah, you can beat the Bucks, but like, are you gonna seriously think they're gonna go up 35-0 on the Eagles or 35-0 on the Dallas Cowboys? You're gonna have to be in shootouts with those teams, and I don't think Brock Purdy's gonna do anything for you in that situation.
So I'm with you when it comes to Philly. I think Philly come playoff time is still going to be ground and pound. They're a run first team that can be explosive in the air if they get the run game going, right? If Jalen Hurts can get on the ground and they can keep running the ball between the tackles with Miles Sanders, then yeah, that's going to be a shootout. Dallas proved yesterday that they're so I know they got the win, right? So I'm not going to go off completely on them. They got the win. This is the Houston Texans. Give me a break, right?
I've been telling you the Texans are good.
No, they are a scrappy team, but you can't be down 2 scores in the fourth quarter. They came back. I'll give it to them. That's where talent outweighs talent, meaning they are more talented than I'm not even gonna say their names. Brock Osweiler, obviously he's not the quarterback, but like that's the style of quarterback. The Florida kid, whatever his name is.
You like Davis Mills?
I do like him, but he's going back and forth right now. Like he's either injured or he's just not performing the way that he should be. They're 1-9-1 or whatever the hell their record is. Like give me a break, man. You can't be struggling against teams like this if you're supposed to be top dog. You want to know what Philly did? Philly beat the brakes off the Giants. They were like, for anybody that thinks that we're going to take a step back, absolutely not. Division game, we're going to absolutely crush you guys. And that's what they did.
Bro, I wanted because you brought up the Giants and you know how much I hate the Giants. I don't know why I hate the Giants. I think you made me a Giants hater because you harped on how good the Giants were early in the season and look where they are now. But so the Giants are what? They're 7-5-1, right? Which is a winning record. We talked about the point differential, and I know it's a little skewed because they got their
smacked.
They got smacked, so they're going to have a pretty bad point differential after that. But overall, they're a negative 33 point differential. Do you want to know the teams with a better point differential than them?
Hit me with it.
The Saints, the Panthers, the Bucks, the Falcons, the Detroit Lions, which we like the Detroit Lions. The Browns have a better point differential than them. So, dude, miss me with the Philadelphia Eagles just smacked the Giants. I mean, come on, that's who they smacked.
But hey, you got to play your teams that are on your schedule, right? That's all that fucking matters. They played the Giants. I think that was in New York yesterday, right? Or were they in Philly?
I didn't watch the game. To be
They
honest
were
with
in
you.
New York. They were in New York. They beat them on the road. Northeast teams are different in late season. Those like you play in Philly, you play in Pittsburgh, you play in New York. It's all the same style of weather. So like if you're playing on the road, really doesn't matter because the same thing as you're playing at home. NFC, like I said, those teams, those three teams are, I would say, head and shoulders above the rest of the league right now, well, at least on the NFC side of it. Yeah. So I mean, I still have trouble with trusting Dallas. I'm going to say that they're still to me, they're a mid team, but they do have a really good, obviously, point differential, like you were saying. Who are your top tier AFC teams? Because that's where it gets, I guess, confusing right now. AFC is wide open.
All right. So going back, so it's weird because I just cited point differential in the NFC, and I'm kind of throwing that a little bit out the window, right? I like the top three in point differential. The Bills are head and shoulders better than everyone else when it comes to that category. I love the Chiefs, the Bengals, and then you get like after those three teams, there's like a kind of a drop off in differential, and then it's the Ravens, the Patriots are actually the fifth best team in the AFC point differential. Jets, Dolphins. So like I think that's where the cutoff is to talk about teams seriously at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And I do like the Miami Dolphins, and they did lose to the Chargers this weekend. I still like Miami in that like right below that top tier of three. I like Miami right below there. Miami's obviously had some tough luck with Tua missing, and this week I think they lost two of their starting five offensive linemen. So obviously, Tua is going to struggle. The team that I'm like kind of out on now, and it's weird because they have a good record. I'm kind of out on the Ravens. Because even when they had Lamar, their offense looked so anemic. And listen, if there's any reason to justify paying Lamar after how bad he's been, bruh, it is so much worse with their backup.
The drop off is insane. I respect Tyler Huntley for at least trying to do what he's doing, but that's how you can see.
Bro, I started him in fantasy this week. I'm so mad.
Why would you do that? It's literally just take the Ravens offense and then subtract Lamar Jackson. Like it's already bad. I got Lamar Jackson. Like it's terrible.
Hold on. To my defense, my options were Huntley, Ryan Tannehill, Carr, and obviously the king of the guys you don't want on your team.
Broncos country.
Hey, Russ cooked. No, he didn't.
Dude, of course, I picked the one guy who was actually okay.
Russ threw touchdowns yesterday. The team still lost, and they are mathematically eliminated. For Tyhee that was listening, just give you a heads up. They're out of it. Sorry, man. Maybe that better next year. Actually, not better next year. They have no draft picks. They gave away a lot to get them. But I digress. Let's move on again to the Ravens. That drop off is significant. Like you're saying, if they're going to pay Lamar, it's so that they don't have to worry about that shit. Lamar Jackson is just showing that like even he has nothing. And if you were to not give me anything, look at what happens when you bring my backup in. You guys are in some trouble. Granted, they skid by, the Steelers. They still got the win. They are in some serious trouble. That 9-4 record is definitely not a 9-4 strong. Another fake, I guess. Oh, we already done talk about the NFC, but like I was gonna relate that with like the Vikings, a fake fucking 10-2 or 10-3 team. It's essentially the same thing right now.
Yeah. I was gonna say, this Lamar thing's been such a roller coaster with me. Again, I am not a Lamar hater. I want him to succeed because when he's successful, it's probably the funnest thing to watch in football. So I'm rooting for his success. But from a front office perspective, if I'm the Ravens, honestly, this offseason, I'm probably looking to, hey, is there a veteran quarterback who's nice that wants to like force his way out of his team and I can get him like a la Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady? Like, because
for what though?
For what? Like,
you're going to get the quarterback to still have nothing.
Right. But like at this point, do you think it's worth paying Lamar Jackson for like locking in for 4 years and hoping it gets better, or like doing like a 1 year or 2 year rental and being like, well, at least if it doesn't work out, we're off the books after that? Because if you swing and miss at Lamar, dude, you could be handcuffing your franchise for a couple of years, unless you have like a contract where you can get out of it easy, like the Derek Carr contract. But if you're gonna guarantee him a shit ton of money for 4 years, and this is what's gonna happen every year, I don't know, man. I don't know. Like again, I'm not trying to be a hater. I'm rooting for his success, but it started off so strong, and now it's kind of like I don't know at this point.
A, he's not going to sign it. B, the Ravens screw themselves by not getting a target. Mark Andrews is his best target, and he's been on the shelf this season off and on. Like Devin Duvernay, Rashard Bateman, a bunch of okay twos, maybe threes on other teams in the NFL. He has no like number one option. J.K. Dobbins just came back, right? You're only, I don't want to say only because I don't know their draft picks, but I know one of their only high overall draft picks is a fucking running back who's coming off of a torn ACL last year. Like they don't have much around him, so they're handcuffed no matter what. They pay him, they can't sign anyone. They don't pay him to try to save money. They have no money to bring in the talent. So like they are in trouble right now as an organization. If I'm Lamar, I mean, we wanted him to get paid. I want him to get paid. Take your tags for 2 years, man. Get out of Dodge.
So like I'm a big proponent of like what is the most on a football team, what's the most disposable thing?
Running back.
Well, beside like I guess, yeah, running back. What else?
What other position are you gonna say?
Not a position.
Disposable?
Coach.
Oh, yeah.
If
You're not getting rid of Hardball.
No. I'm saying get rid of Greg Roman, the offensive coordinator.
Yes.
Like at this point, you're going to like you listed out all the reasons why you're handcuffed to Lamar. Something's got to change, right? Why not get a new OC that can maybe use his talents a little better? Because maybe it's not him that's the problem. And this is kind of like the Kyler Murray thing. Maybe it's not Kingsbury that's the problem, but like you're not going to get rid of Kyler. You're not going to get rid of Lamar. It seems like something's got to change. Dog, OC's got to go.
They should have been gotten rid of the offensive coordinator. Yeah. This isn't just we'll wait till the offseason type of thing. Like we saw the struggle bus the last 3 seasons or 2 seasons when they lost to Tennessee, right? Like if they are a front running team, I'll give them that. Like I'm sorry, Lamar, but like he is a front running team, and when they're up, he plays phenomenal. Yeah. When they are behind, it's tough for them to come back just because they are a run first style of team, similar to what you were saying with the 49ers. But like at the end of the day, he's still an MVP. An MVP for 4 years, and his best target is a tight end. We're not Algie Crumpler and Michael Vick, right? He's not Antonio Gates and Phillip Rivers. It's Mark Andrews. Love him. I think he's a great overall tight end, but he's not a number one option anywhere in the league when it comes to passing.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what else you're going to do. I was curious, like, just thought, because I think we've covered the AFC, right? Like, pretty good. Let's get in. Are there any teams that are, because we have like 3 more, where it's 17 games, right? So we have 3 more games of pop for everyone at this point, right?
Yep.
Are there any teams that you think could make a run that are like 500-ish now? So kind of out of that top tier of team, I'm curious, is there anyone on your radar? Because I have one I wanted to throw out there. I think we talked about before the show.
I'll let you, I won't say it because I know you like them. I'll pick a different team. If I'm going to say somebody that's going to come out of nowhere and try to sneak into that last playoff spot, I hate bringing it up, but don't sleep on the Jaguars for the AFC. I'll let you go NFC. The reason why I'm saying don't sleep on the Jaguars, Trevor Lawrence is looking really, really good right now. They gave the keys to Travis Etienne after they traded away James Robinson, and Lawrence looked like a dog last night. I know he put up what was like 300 plus and 4 touchdowns with Evan Ingram going off. Like that's his college numbers that we were all expecting him to be like. So for him to do it again yesterday, granted, it's the division more than it's the record. They are in an awful division, the AFC South. So like they could finish 8-8 and win the division, right? Like the Titans, we all know how Tannehill isn't the guy. Like the Titans could start to regress. I've never seen Derrick Henry get hit the way that he did yesterday. He got absolutely leveled. Did you see that hit?
No.
Oh, it was bad. It was like video game-esque. We're like, there's no way a 240-pound guy does that. Oh, he did it. He got smoked. And so like I mean that as like the Jaguars defense came to play. If they can play that style of defense against an aggressive, like run-based team, watch out, man. A lot of their games to finish, at least I'll rip them off for you real quick. I'm pretty sure they're all like divisional games. Let me see if I can get it for you. They got the Cowboys and they got the Jets, 2 tough games, obviously, on the road. but they still got the Texans and they play the Titans again at home. Like they can win their division and make it to the playoffs, which I think that's an eye-opening thing just for where they were at the beginning of the season, where questioning Doug Peterson and questioning Trevor Lawrence with being a second-year quarterback. I think they're kind of checking off those boxes and answering those questions now.
So we were talking before, man. I don't know. There's something about this Lions team. They started off, I think, 1-6, and they were like a laughing stock of the league. I'm looking now. They've won 5 of the past 6. Let me see. I believe so. 1 win, 2 win. Yeah, 5 of the last 6. They have 4 more games left. Most of them are very winnable. They've done the hard work. They beat the Vikings. They beat they smoked the Jaguars. In the one loss they had, they lost by a field goal on Thanksgiving, a last-second field goal to the Bills. So this team's been smoking like recently, like running all cylinders. They got the Jets, the Panthers, the Bears, and the Packers left. If you go 3-1 out of those, that puts you at 9-7, right? Or 9-7. That or 9-8, excuse me. That's good enough to get you in the playoff for some tiebreakers. And dude, you do not want to play that team if they make the playoffs, having won. I don't know, what is that like?
It'd be 8 of the last 10.
And like that is scary. And shout out to their head coach, because he got the job. He's talking about Dan Campbell's talking about biting kneecaps and being just this weird meme of a coach, but like apparently the guys believe in him. Like if you didn't believe in him as a coach and as a leader, you would have given up after week 7 and not given a shit. But he's got the guys buying in and they're playing their asses off. So, and I don't know what the Lions deal is. I think it's been like 20 years since they made the playoff or something crazy. So if they could come back and make the playoffs, and they'd be a great story all around.
I think it's crazy that you have to say, you don't have to, but you say the words buying in for professional athletes in the NFL, meaning grown-ass men. But like that's what they're doing, right? Like they are believing in Dan Campbell's, like you said, antics off the field. He had like an emotional breakdown, I'm pretty sure, when they lost to the Dolphins. Like we put our heart and soul into it. Like I failed our guys. Like he cried like at the presser.
That man cares more than any other coach.
And like some people will clown, right? The same way people clown Mike McDaniels. And I mean, look, because he sounded like a nerd in his initial, press conference. But like, look what happened. Like these guys, and they just got back a significant weapon on offense. Jameson Williams. I know you don't follow college like I do, but that kid can fucking burn. We saw it yesterday. It was a 40-yard post. Like it was nothing. He didn't have anybody within like 15 yards of him. So they got on offense. Jamal Williams is weird enough to be, top leading rusher in the NFL.
I think DeAndre Swift is a second
runner. Yeah, like Swift is their backup. They just got rid of Hawkinson, and they don't care because they got Amon-Ra St. Brown. They got the kid from LSU that's pretty decent on the outside as well. Now they got Jameson Williams. Like they're gonna be tough, man. Like I said, you don't want to play that team. I can't name a single player on defense for them besides Aiden Hutchinson. But those are those teams that are hard to play against because you just don't know where the playmaker is going to come from.
And like they're playing a lot of teams at the end who, at this point, you said you're making a point like, hey, they're grown men playing football, but like I know football is fun, but for them it's their job and it's a fucking grind. Like a football season's a grind. Not to mention NFL season that's 17 games, right? If you have nothing to play for at the very end, it's hard to get up for a game, right? So I don't know, man. This could be like a team of destiny that upsets the first round opponent and makes some noise in the playoffs.
I could definitely see that, man. Definitely. I like it, man. I'm telling you, this is actually a pretty smooth show, right? Running the show for the first time. Definitely give us some kudos when it comes to trying to transition the right way. I'm not hitting the buttons on the track like he is doing the producing. What you got to say?
I like this because normally I have like 8 plates in my hand trying to balance everything, and now you're trying to run the show, and like when you're putting out points, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna fucking kill him on this point in 1 second. I have like nice stats up to match you. Like I'm just like waiting for you to stop talking. I'm like,
Just so everybody knows in the crowd, and again, the voice definitely sounds as Trudeau said it better, boisterous. I'm a little bit closer to my mic because I have to talk a little bit more today. Trudeau is the stats guy. I am the emotional, like, let's just bring it energy wise and talk about random shit. So the fact that I'm giving him time to actually prep his stats, it's going to sound like he's winning every single debate if we have a debate, and that's not fair.
right.
Yeah, right, exactly. You think you're right. So I'm going to come off again as just a nonsense speculator. Call me the Shannon Sharp, where it just doesn't make any sense that I'm saying, but it sounds good that I'm saying it. And because you have the statistics and time to research while I'm talking and running it, and you're just sitting back and listening, yes, it's going to sound like you're doing something significant this show.
Let's do something not stats and just complete nonsense, shall we?
You got it.
Big media won't tell you the full story, but we will. It's time to open your third eye and hear the truth. This is the Truth Tellers with Trudeau.
Hello, Darian. Today, I want to talk about balls. That's right, balls. Not just any balls. Aaron Judge's juiced balls.
I like it.
Well, what are we talking about? Well, our friends at Insiders did a story that dug into the balls over the course of the MLB season. Now, if you remember from last year, there was a lot of hoopla in the MLB about juiced balls. Why was everybody hitting home runs? This is crazy. Well, it's funny because MLB has a rule book about how balls are made. And there's a little discretionary line because the balls are made by hand. They handmade their balls. That there can be a little bit of variation in balls. And pitchers complained last year about the balls being too juiced. And basically what they do is they make the ball core a little tighter. So when the contact hits the... Actually, do I have the sound?
You have that?
You hear a little... When you hear that little... That thing goes flying. So they actually deadened the balls this season. They changed the balls out, made the centers a little more loose so they don't go flying. Well, our friends at Insider did a little bit of an investigation over the balls over the course of the season, and they found that there were 3, not 1, not 2, but 3 balls in play this year. Now, Darian, this is where we get into the fun part. Let me just turn on the music a little bit. Darian, there were 3 balls. One, what they termed the Goldilocks ball. It was the one that got the most lift, the most home runs. Goldilocks. They were found the Goldilocks balls in a couple scenarios. Postseason games. Now, first, why is that? Why is that? Any idea why? Postseason games?
I mean, it's kind of telling. They want people to view these long balls getting out of the field.
So we already established that MLB puts select balls in select games to push an agenda, to push a narrative. And for them, that was getting home runs in the postseason, getting eyes, getting money. The second time the Goldilocks balls were in there, the All-Star game and Home Run Derby. Now, Darian, why is that?
Chicks dig the long ball, bro. It's pretty simple.
Again, there is an agenda by MLB placing these balls specifically in different scenarios. Now, the third one, not as fun. They gave them out as commemorative balls for the, an anniversary for the Houston Astros. There was, however, a 4th scenario where they found these Goldilocks balls. Any idea where they found these balls?
I'm going to guess Aaron Judge home games for Yankees.
Oh, Darian. They found these balls.
Big media won't tell you.
We don't need all that. In Yankees games. And in particular, they found these balls in 2 months. In August in September. Now, if you remember correctly, that was when what was happening?
When Aaron Judge was trying to break the home run record, single season home run record.
So we have a scenario where Aaron Judge is trying to break a home run record and he's getting fed juiced balls. Why is that? Remember, we talked about agendas before, and that MLB is potentially playing certain balls to push an agenda. What agenda would they be pushing?
I know the answer to this. I don't want to spoil it because I want you to relay it. So I'll give a different answer and say,
let me ask you this. Let me put it this way for the audience. This past MLB Hall of Fame class, one of the greatest players of all time was omitted from the Hall of Fame. Barry Bonds. And MLB celebrated as a group that cheater was not in their club. He would not be in the history books. But if you own the home run record, guess where you get to be?
In the Hall of Fame.
Well, technically, yeah, but in the history books. Changing out balls to push an agenda. They hate Barry Bonds. What do you think MLB may? I'm not saying they have. No, I'm not. I'm just asking questions. Wouldn't it be convenient if Aaron Judge, the clean guy, broke the home run record? Here's another layer. Do you remember when he didn't break the record and he broke the AL record or whatever? And they were trotting him out like he had done this great thing. Remember all the coverage and all the bullshit from the media saying that he's the true home run king? I'm just saying this was a hit job because MLB failed in their attempt to overthrow Barry Bonds, and they're trying to paint a narrative that his record didn't count anyways. It's all a big hit job. It is all a big hit job. Barry Bonds is the home run king. Just leave him alone. Stop trying to juice balls to Aaron Judge. Don't fuck with Judge's balls and give him the record. This is bullshit. We're calling out your bullshit right now. Why is that? A quick fun fact on Barry Bonds, which is insane, by the way. Barry Bonds, this is how good he was. Barry Bonds has the all-time record in intentional walks. He was walked 688 times all time. Do you know who has second place and what his number is? Probably not.
Larry Walker, and it's 190.
Albert Pujols at 316. Barry Bonds has double the second most, like the second place in intentional walks. He was that good. People were that afraid of him, but MLB wants to scrub him from the history books so badly.
Two major things about that. I remember watching, because it was on ESPN, the game where I can't remember which team it was, but they intentionally walked Barry Bonds with the bases loaded. I have never seen that before. I've never seen it after that, but they intentionally walked a man to bring in a run. That is incredible. Second would be, go ahead.
No, just one last nugget on the truth tellers, and I forgot to mention this. Our guest last week, Betty's brought this up to me as a point. It was Insider that covered the story and broke the news. Why do you think it was Insider and not, I don't know, any of the other reputable journalist entities like ESPN or what have you?
If it gets tied to ESPN, like, they can get in trouble, I would say legally wise, for trying to not really change the outcome of games, but essentially change the outcome of games.
So one of ESPN's biggest partners is DraftKings. Just saying. Would be really bad if we found out the betting was tampered with. So that I'm sure they stay away from that story. I'm sorry to cut you off earlier.
No, you're good. You're good. You know about that inside shit more than I do. So, like, please feed it to the audience because they probably definitely love that stuff. So my biggest thing about what happened this season, at least baseball wise, is there were times where I was ready for it, right? I was all for it. I was like, hey, possible chance of a home run. They also made it so, like, whatever the hell you were watching on ESPN, they just clipped to Aaron Judge. So that was annoying. Shout outs to everybody on the internet that made a whole bunch of memes and whatnot. Like Tiger Woods' famous shot. Remember the chip shot where, like, it rolls around the cup. They did one where, like, it rolled to the cup and then it just cut to a Judge, like, walk. So, like, shout out to the internet. The internet stays undefeated for shit like that. But, like, I tuned in. I'm a big fan of home runs. I'm all for the juice era. Like, please, I love 8 to 10 games with 7 home runs, right? I don't like 3-2 games with pitching duels. Sorry, that's just not going to bring me to your sport. Barry Bonds made everybody a fucking baseball fan. I don't care if he was on the lotion, if he was on the needle, whatever pills he took. The Giants were relevant, and the Giants were able to like capture an entire country. Everybody wanted to witness that shit when he hit 72 and 73. Covey Cove, I'll never forget it because of Barry Bonds. Like, people in their little boats. Yeah, like people in their fucking boats in the ocean just chilling there waiting for that ball. Like, whatever the hell they paid for it. Like, that's memories, especially as a kid. I don't remember much about baseball. There's like 3 major things that I do, and then 2 of them are home run oriented. One was the bloop single for the Florida Marlins. I can't remember. No, Diamondbacks. Sorry, Arizona Diamondbacks. The bloop single for the World Series win. I can't remember his name, but I remember that vividly. The Sammy Sosa versus the Mark McGwire home run race. That was an incredible time. Again, I was a fucking kid, so like I was able to cheer for this shit. And then Barry Bonds going off for 70 fucking home runs. Like, I don't care about singles, doubles, triples, none of that. Give me home runs all day, and you're going to have me and literally any of like my kudos friends watching it because people want to see that type of stuff. People want to see pitching duels and singles up the middle to drive in the runner from second.
Yeah, I wish I had the list in front of me, but when I was doing some research,
Luis Gonzalez. Sorry, the name was. It always comes to me.
I wish I had the list in front of me because I was doing research, and it's hilarious if you look at the all-time single season home run leading list because they're like, I don't know, 18 out of the top 20 are all people from 85 to 1995, like when all the steroids was rampant. Dude, that time was slapping in baseball.
It was the highest point of baseball. That was like it when they say America's pastime, that was it. That was didn't matter what day of the week it was, tune on the I guess the fall ball to see people just launching at Wrigley, launching at Cardinal Stadium, anywhere essentially, Yankee Stadium, even, people were hitting home runs, Mo Vaughn hitting home runs at Fenway, right? Then we got like the tail end of Manny, right before they cracked down, like the beginning stages of Manny and David Ortiz in the early 2000s. Like, that was fun. And then a whole bunch of shit came out legal-wise and people taking steroids, and it took away all that fun from the game.
You know how like they have like the Live Golf Tour? The people are saying it's like the dark version of the PGA. I want a dark version of baseball where everyone's required to take steroids and we just get after it.
I'm all for it. Look, this is how I see it. And like, that's my argument with like the whole, I'm not the only person that talks about it, but like, that's my argument with like the Barry Bonds part. Like, he took him, right? If you say he took him, if you don't believe it, whatever, you still got to hit the goddamn ball. Like, that is one of the hardest things in sports is hitting a baseball from however far away the pitcher's mound is to the base, like to the plate. Like, that is damn near impossible. So if you were making yourself that much more jacked, less athletic to be able to hold your bat, and that's Gary Sheffield. However, he used to swing his bat, like, he still had the hand-eye coordination to launch them motherfuckers out the field, right? So like, who cares if he took it? Who cares? Pitchers, you had the chance to take it too. You should have been throwing 99 past. Exactly. You should have been throwing past him. I'm telling you, man, I'll go down a whole rant as to why I can't stand baseball and motherfuckers. Like, I'm going to throw it at your head because you hit a home run off me. Like, I'm going to throw this bat at your head because you threw it at me. Like, baseball players are bitches for that stuff. I don't even want to go on a tangent for that, but like, bring me back for, just home runs, because I'll watch the sport if I'm seeing some home runs. I'm not going to watch the sport with watching singles and doubles up the middle. Whew, last segment, baby. I think that's it. Let's play it, baby.
I thought we were doing the World Cup, but you want to go right?
Oh, no, I didn't know we were finishing. My bad. No, that's on me. I didn't know that we were doing the World Cup. I know that we had obviously the U.S. lost, unfortunately, since the last time that we were able to go live, because I think we talked about a lot of basketball with biddies last week.
Yeah.
So the U.S. lost. We saw that Spain was Spain lost. Portugal's out. Cristiano Ronaldo's laughing all the way to the bank, unfortunately, after losing in the semifinals. Argentina's still alive, right?
I thought it was interesting. There's a lot of like storyline driven stuff for the World Cup right now. I just wanted to rat-tat-tat what's going on.
Yeah.
So to me, three of the remaining four teams are really interesting. Morocco is the first African nation team to ever make it to the Final Four. So shout out to them being Portugal. Argentina, obviously, you have the storyline with Messi. He's never won a World Cup, and he's 2 games away from being a World Cup champion. And the other one that's interesting is France. They're looking to be the first back-to-back team, or first team to win back-to-back World Cups since like 1940. So really, I mean, sorry, Croatia. I think they've advanced twice on PK shootouts at this point, so that's kind of interesting. So it's looking like it's going to be France and Argentina based on the betting odds. Those are the two, strongest teams. I do want to ask you this, and this is one thing I really want to talk about with this is, dude, Ronaldo is just the classless teammate I've ever seen in my life. Did you see what happened with him?
I saw all of those videos and pictures of him on the sideline, like pouting because he was a sub. He wasn't a starter, right? He had to come in off the bench.
Bro, so like their second to last game, I forget who they were playing. I wish I could remember, but there was the first game he sat on the bench, and his replacement in the starting lineup at striker had a hat trick. He had a hat trick. He was a 22-year-old kid, had a hat trick. Ronaldo's sitting there pouting, super unhappy. The game ends, and he just kind of like, his teammates are all celebrating, just walks his ass straight to the locker room. He has no time for that. Like, could you imagine a teammate doing that to you?
Especially on a national stage like this. It's one thing if it's like, the starting quarterback is mad that the backup quarterback came in and won, a regular season game. And then it's a completely horse of a different color when it's your sub comes in and wins the game for your country. Like those aren't apples to apples, right? So yeah, we all knew that, Ronaldo's a baby when it comes to this type of stuff. I was just more interested in hearing, or at least talking about all of the antics of him on the sideline when it comes to,
oh god, dude.
Yeah, like him just sitting on that. So like that. I thought that was hilarious, just him sitting on the sideline.
It's just classless, man. Like I understand you're upset, and you've been the face of that team for a long time, and you're used to being the golden boy of soccer. But at some point, like you're going to age out. You know what I mean? Like your time's going to be up, and he can still play. But it is what it is. It's part of the evolution of being an athlete, and to just be the body language of being shitty, and your younger teammate, his first start in a World Cup game, scores a hat trick. No love for him, nothing. Just like, whatever, dude. Like, that's my spot. Just selfish, It's just I feel bad for his teammates. That they seem to be there for the right reasons. And if for Ronaldo, like he'd rather lose than win without Ronaldo. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. He'd rather lose and score 3 goals instead of win and not contribute.
Yep, exactly.
That's been his MO. I'm not gonna say like I know about soccer, but I know about the, I guess, cons of a Cristiano Ronaldo, which, I mean, I feel like they've talked about the difference between him and Messi is stuff like that. Which, like, if he's not the center of attention when it comes to a win, whether it's for Real Madrid, whether it's for Barcelona, or the teams that he played in the past, the Messi and Ronaldo, Ronaldo didn't play for Barcelona, Messi did. But like when they played for those respective teams, which were really dominant in their leagues, like if he wasn't contributing, like he was part of that, like back end, like, hey, good job, guys. And like see you later, as opposed to like, yo, we just won the EPL, or we just won they weren't in the English Premier League. Yeah, they were in the
Liga 1 or League 1.
Yeah, La Liga.
Well, same thing. He was in Juventus in Italy a couple of years back. And he was pissed off. He was coming off the bench, didn't want to play there. Got sent to Man U. He was happy at first, and then Man U was like, "Hey man, like we need our strikers to help out in defense, and you're not doing that, so you're going to come off the bench." And he's like, "Double middle finger to you. I want out." I was going to go play in pretty much like the G League in Saudi Arabia and get paid to just be Ronaldo. I mean, I guess go get that money, get that bag, but it just kind of shows the type of person he is. It's about him. And he's gonna love it. You want to know why? Because he's going to be the king of that league. No one else matters in that league. It's going to be just Ronaldo.
He's gonna have his face, not only doesn't already when it comes to leagues, but he's gonna have his face plastered all over the place, home and away games. So he's going to get all of the love that he needs in order to be a successful player. Whatever, man. Like, it's the tail end of your career. We're seeing it when it comes to, all these old athletes that we were able to follow over the last 15 to 20 years. Oddly enough, some of them that you thought were a certain way, like, people are starting to get like second guesses on them. It's kind of seen it with like a Tom Brady. I don't want to go down that route, but like, we're seeing it with like the tail end of people's careers not matching up with like why you fell in love with that player in the first place.
Yeah, it's a bummer. God damn it! That is not the right button. See, all I have to do is press the buttons, and I can't do it right.
And he's doing this wrong now.
What a day! What a day! You want to hop right into it?
I'll play my sound, baby. I don't like to get out of here without playing it.
The show is coming to an end. But first, it's time to get to anything we've missed. It's closing time. 1 segment, 2 takes. Now go.
Oh, that track goes fucking hard. The trumpets go hard, bro. That's it. It's the trumpets. The trumpets make that track. So quick recap, closing time, baby. Closing takes. We actually both wanted to go, I guess, the same area, right? We didn't even agree with it at first. Like, you said, hey, you got an idea? I was like, yeah, I got an idea. I said mine, and then you said yours. I was like, oh, it's the same shit. So for me, the Heisman Trophy, you guys know how much I love college football. I mean, there was just so much non-magic towards the end of the season for Heisman Trophy winners this year, right? We know that the 4 candidates that were there, Caleb Williams ended up winning it, quarterback out of USC, Max Dugan, if you pronounce it the right way, TCU quarterback, CJ Stroud, quarterback of Ohio State University, and then Stetson Bennett was kind of just a throw-in. This is actually, and I looked at it too, this is the first year in quite some time, and I'll read back the last 10 that I got, where the Heisman Trophy winner is most likely not going to be like a high draft pick. He's staying in college, and Caleb Williams is probably 3rd, maybe 4th tier quarterback when it comes to best quarterbacks coming out of college when he is ready to go. So I'll read them back for you real quick. Last 10, Bryce Young. He's going to be a top 5 pick in the next year's draft, even with that injury. Devontae Smith, drafted in the 1st round. Joe Burrow, easy one. Kyler Murray, number 1 overall. Baker Mayfield, number 1 overall. Lamar Jackson, end of the 1st round, but we know how good he was in college. It was absolutely ridiculous. Caleb Williams doesn't hold water to that.
Yeah, but isn't Caleb Williams going to be a 1st-round pick?
Like, I don't think so, man. He's not. Well, he just got hurt.
I'll look it up right now. I'm pretty sure he's like a locked-in top 15.
I have not seen that. I heard if this was supposed to be a good quarterback draft, and it is, but all of those names have dropped significantly back. It just like it hurt. We know that CJ Stroud and Bryce Young were supposed to be top dogs. Now they're flirting with maybe top 10 picks because of their seasons that they had. Bryce Young coming off an injury, and CJ Stroud didn't play his best. And those were the top tier quarterbacks.
Yeah, I thought it was weird in general because at least 2 of the guys at the Heisman are like, why are you even here? Stetson Bennett and Duggan, they had no shot at winning it. I don't know why. It was like they were like token, like, hey, you had fun, kid. Like, come on to the Heisman Trophy and sit here and be, just do nothing. I don't know.
I don't think there was enough hype because Ohio State wasn't playing in the college football. They weren't playing in the national championship game. Obviously, they're in the college football playoff, but like they're not a lock in. So like the last time that there was 2 or 3 people in the finals, it was because one of them was playing in the national championship game. They can't do that now because there's a playoff, right? So there's not as much hype. If CJ Stroud won the Heisman and then lost the game in the college football playoff, all for naught, right? So they gave it to a guy that's not even participating in the college football playoff. There's just not as much juice around it because then his next game, while he's at the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl to finish 10-3, and be like, yeah, Heisman Trophy winner quarterback Caleb Williams, and like it's nothing great.
You're right, man. I for some reason, because he had Heisman buzz, I thought Caleb Williams was a more highly thought of, prospect. Don't see him in the 1st round of the mock draft.
He got passed up by I always want to say Josh Dobbs, but it's not the quarterback for Tennessee. The
He's
kid
nice
that
though.
yeah, he's good, but he got hurt. But I'm saying in the middle of the season, that shift of quarterback, it just went backwards. Like the kid from North Carolina is not playing great. He was supposed to be something coming out of school. Like I said, CJ and Bryce, or who did you call Bryce Young? Swaggy P.
Like B.
Like they've taken a step back. And you're seeing a lot of teams, at least if you look at draft boards, they're thinking about defense right now, defense and offensive linemen. And hey, man, like you got to go where the getting is good. And if you can find a great stopping defensive end, I can't even name you one. Maybe the kid out of Michigan because he was the backup to Aiden Hutchinson last year. The kid from Alabama even fell back. Like there's a lot of weirdness around the end of college football this season.
So I thought a really interesting thing about the Heisman and in the commercials to watch the Heisman or whatever. And there was a factoid that if Stetson Bennett, were to win the Heisman, he would be the second oldest player to ever win the Heisman. And he's 25 years old. And I was like, how the hell would he not be the oldest? So I did my research.
I know who it is.
And I was wondering if you would know this. So you must know who the oldest Heisman winner of all time is.
Absolutely. Jason fucking White out of Oklahoma University. Was it not him?
No.
No. He was like 27.
No, he must have been younger than Stetson Bennett then, because he would have been the second oldest at 25.
Ooh.
The oldest Heisman winner of all time was Chris Winkie at Florida State.
Ew.
He was 28 years old when he won the Heisman. And that just got me thinking, right? What are you doing at college? I mean, all right. Shout out to the people who go back to college and get a degree. Like, hell yeah, like I'm proud of you. Like that's a way to go. But like to be going to play college football at 28, that's kind of, I don't know, man, just kind of bizarre. Like what was he doing on campus, Chris Winkie, with his 20-year-old teammates just like raging at like frat parties? I just can't imagine it.
That is very strange. Yeah. I mean, I know that I felt old as fuck when I stayed for my 5th year, super senior year. So I could only imagine if I was 28. Yuck. Like, yeah, like what? Yeah, like you're at a different time of your life at that age. He clearly was only taking like basket weaving and that's it, because he couldn't. There's no way he was attending classes and being the quarterback of Florida State while doing that.
So weird. And just a quick little tidbit for you, and that you talked about some of the guys who won the Heisman, and we talked about how this class is kind of lackluster as far as like guys who were considered for the Heisman.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know who Winkie won the Heisman over? A couple names, because I was shocked to see like the Heisman vote.
What year was it?
Oh God, I don't know. I think it was a 98 or something, or 99.
Is that Charles Woodson? Is that Peter Warwick? Is that Charlie Ward?
Drew Brees class.
Oh, Drew Brees. Oh, okay, so that's a lot farther.
So he won over Drew Brees, LaDainian Tomlinson, and Michael Vick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was a huge thing when he won over Michael Vick, because Virginia Tech that season was ridiculous. Obviously, yeah, that's crazy. College football is like the one-hit wonders out of college football is so crazy if you think about it. Like how somebody could just absolutely dominate. Tim Tebow, it'd be like the best college football player in the history of college football, and then it amount to absolutely nothing in the NFL. I think it's just crazy how that type of shit can happen. Kind of think of anybody else besides Tebow as like the greatest thing to then not be anything in the NFL. Yeah, I have to do some digging.
We'll get back to you on that one. He has to be the top of the list, though.
It's number one, hands down. As great as he was, he is the best college football quarterback in the history of college football.
I will say that.
He did against the Steelers. A hell of a fucking launch throw from like way down here to rest in peace. What's his name? The wide receiver.
Does Jamarcus Russell count on this list?
He didn't win a Heisman.
Oh, so we're talking about just Heisman. So
I mean, no. Even if you just play it, because Jamarcus Russell was a one and done type thing. He just had a really good season. He didn't have a good career. I think that might be it, though. Right. I can't think about names. But, I mean, we're going to wrap it up to get out of here, right? For the first time saying it, for us to take off, for those that were able to listen to us, please like, subscribe, hit the follow button on Twitch. whether it's us here at Frizz and the Grizz podcast, me at your boy D Frizzy Frizz, D Frizzy underscore Frizz 5. You can catch me later on this evening at 10 o'clock, GBA playoff games. If you guys are into NBA 2K leagues, you can definitely find us Hidden Leaf tonight. Trudeau, what you got before you take off?
Peace.